in the last class. So in today's class, we study about how to avoid redundancy of schema. Right. So whenever you define relations from the schema, there is chance of redundancy. Right. So how to avoid redundancy of schemas. So that's the first topic for today's class. So many to one and one to many sets that are total on the many side can be represented by adding an extra attribute to the many side containing the primary key of the one side. Right. So for example, there exists a many to one relationship between the instructor and the department. Right. So you have many instructors, you have one department. Similarly, you have many students and you have one department. So there exists many to one relationship between the participating entities, and there is a total participation in the many side. Right. So this can be represented by adding an extra attribute to the many side containing the primary key of the one side. Right. So how to represent a student entity? So we are going to represent student entity by means of ID, name, total credit followed by department name. Right. So this is how you represent the relation when there exists many to one relationship set among the participating entities. Right. So similarly, instructor relation is also represented by instructor ID, name, salary, department name. Right. So instead of creating a separate relation, student department. So what is meant by student department? Student department is a relationship set which contains the primary key of the participating entities. It should contain ID, department name. So instead of creating a separate relationship set student department, we are going to add the extra attribute that is present in the. You are going to add extra attribute to the many side containing the primary key of the one side. Right. So this is how we represent a relationship. Right. So for one-to-one relationship, either side can be chosen to act as the many side. Right. So this you need to be familiar. Right. So again, the other thing that you need to note it in redundancy of schema is that the schema corresponding to a relationship set linking a weak entity to the strong entity set is going to be redundant. Right. So for example, you have a weak entity set section underscore course. So what are the attributes of the relationship set section underscore course? So it is going to contain the attributes course ID and section ID. Right. So this is going to be redundant since already we are going to represent the weak entity by means of course ID, section ID, semester and year. So whenever there is some redundancy, you can remove the relations. Right. So you need not represent the relationship set section underscore course, which has the attributes course ID followed by section ID, rather than we are going to represent only the weak entity. Right. So we are going to represent the weak entity by means of the all attributes in the weak entity followed by the primary key of the strong entity on which the weak entity is being dependent. Right. So there is no need to represent the weak entity set in the form of a weak entity relationship set in the form of a relation. Right. So hope you can follow this two topics. Right. So redundancy means whenever there exists a many to one relationship between the participating entities, what happens is that you can represent the many to one relationship by adding an extra attribute to the many side containing the primary key attribute of the one side. Right. So there exists many to one relationship between the student and the department. Right. So rather than representing student department relationship set. So what does a student department relationship set contains? It contains ID and name, right? So it contains ID and name. So what we do is that we are going to add the primary key of the one side to the many side, right? We will be able to represent this many to one relationship. Right, I have a call. I'll be right? So we have discussed about how to work with weak entity set. So weak entity set also you need not represent the relationship set linking a weak entity set with the strong entity set, right? So section underscore course weak entity set relationship set is going to contain the primary key of the participating entities course ID and section ID. So that's going to be redundant. Since we are going to represent the weak entity set section with the attributes section ID, semester, year, and course ID, we need not represent the relationship set section underscore course